Yes, a very good morning. Thank you so much for watching Morning at NTV. We appreciate you for making us your session of choice. Now, as you're aware, this very week, last week, at the start of last week, we had different presidential candidates did their they launched their manifestos, and they went ahead. They've been in two different regions in doing campaigns in preparations for the 2026 general elections. Joining me this morning is the flag bearer of the Alliance for National Transformation, Gregory Mugisha Muntu, and we want to talk to him and know how, regarding campaign, how it is. First of all, thank you so much, Gregory, for joining us this morning. We want to know, so far you've been to different districts last week. How was it like?
First, we appreciate the people who have come to meet with us. We also are happy because we find that our message is resonating with the population. There's no place where we have been where you don't find the message resonating with people. The only challenge we notice is that people are so hard pressed by problems. They seem to think that there needs to be a quick solution. We appreciate that situation. We try to communicate to them that they should not give up hope in spite of the darkness they see around them. That they need to give us their trust and also their support, because we have the capability to manage this country. And the only way we think right now, the only way the country can be changed is when there's a shift. One, in the conclusion the population makes that enough is enough and that there needs to be change in leadership. And for them also to make the right choices. And therefore that's why we offer ourselves and also offer the solutions, or we explain the solutions to the challenges that they are faced with. We know that the combination of their support and our capabilities, we can be able to take power and we can also be able to manage it responsibly.
Okay, Geno, as you've just mentioned that people have told you what they are going through, the challenges. Now we want to know, once you're voted in as a president, what are those particular things you're looking at?
One, the source of the problem in this country for 62 years is the majority of people who gradually kept on getting into politics are people who are driven by selfish motives. People who want to use politics as a channel to getting wealth, using shortcuts, also using illegitimate ways. Therefore, the solution to that is to get people who think different, who act different. And therefore, one of our campaigns that we have been conducting consistently and persistently as a party is to attract more and more people who can be leaders, who can be supporters of ANT, so that we build a critical mass, but also collaborate with other political forces that desire to see positive change, to work together, so that the moment we get into power, the first thing that we do is to create teams of men and women of integrity, men and women who care about people, men and women who care about the country. That's where you start from. And then you start resolving the challenges which the population is facing, like lack of drugs. Ensure that a government hospital, any health center of government is facilitated in terms of equipment, diagnostic equipment, that the healthcare service workers are well catered for in terms of salaries, in terms of facilitation for their lives to be good. Because people who are not, whose mind is unstable because they don't know how they are going to get their next meal, really can't focus on the patient. So we have to deal with that. But also to ensure that there are drugs in government hospitals. That's why our proposal for resolving the problems in the healthcare sector is to establish a fully functional and efficient national health care insurance scheme, which is able to cater for treatment of those in all categories, including the ordinarily most vulnerable, those who don't have money. So the design of the National Health Insurance Scheme must be of a nature that it caters for all. You have money, you are middle level income earner, you are also the low level income earner, that you are all included in that design. When you have a healthy population, and also our investments ensure that educational levels, educational standards are lifted up to be competitive on the global, on a global scale. That therefore you have a citizen who is healthy, who is well educated, who is well trained, and then you invest in food security systems, agriculture, crop as well as animal husbandry, the crops for feeding, and also those for exports, but also to ensure that there is food in terms of food security for the country, that you don't have any time when, for example, one part of a country is hit by famine, and then there is no system of ensuring that the people can access food in spite maybe of a low season when they are not able to harvest the food. All that focused on ensuring that there is a healthy human being who is well educated, who is well trained, who is well fed. Because that is a core factor in the sustainable development process of a country. When you have that citizen who is all round in regard to all that, then you invest in the supportive services, what facilitates them to function in terms of those who are in entrepreneurship, whether it is in agro-processing, whether it is in manufacturing, whether it is in the services sector, that you have got funding in banks, a low interest rate, long-term repayment periods. So those who are able to borrow, once they go in manufacturing, can produce for the domestic market, also for export. And then you can tax all those who are involved in entrepreneurship of whatever nature, and you expand the tax base. As you expand the tax base and you get more taxes, you reinvest in productive services. The ones who are in the sectors, for example, tourism, you give them support, because the tourism, as you said, is a low-hanging fruit. You get people who don't have the expertise yet to operate on a higher standard. For example, in manufacturing, you really have to have good expertise to be able to go into manufacturing, for example, of spare parts for vehicles, or spare parts for any other machinery. But the one who has not reached that level in terms of investment can get cheap financing to be able to put up a hotel, 20 rooms, 30 rooms, 40 rooms, and is able to tap into the tourism industry. If you build the tourism industry by building infrastructure, you ensure that there is good healthcare services, that when tourists look at a country, they know that even if they got into a problem, they would be able to access healthcare immediately. To have transportation, ambulance, the ones who move on the road, air ambulances. For anybody who is in the country, tourists or even nationals, wherever you are, to know that, okay, if you can go on a smooth road, fine. But if you need hasty evacuation, that there are air evacuation services. And then support in terms of marketing the country. Tourism, Uganda is one of the most beautiful countries on this planet. But the leaders seem to think that Uganda, people will smell it maybe in the air, or I don't know how they think they will hear about it. They don't put money into marketing Uganda. The only countries in this region which heavily invest in marketing the country as a destination for a good destination of tourism is Tanzania, Kenya, and Rwanda. They invest heavily, and the responses are quite good in terms of tourist entries. We need to invest in that, and of course put the supportive infrastructure to support tourism. Why tourism is very, very important? Because one, it's a low-hanging fruit. Two, it becomes a market. Like those who are in the dairy industry who will be able to make cheese, who will be able to make yogurt, who will be able to make butter, the ones who will sell milk, the ones who are in rice growing in the crop sector and able to do agro-processing to make cereals, to make tomato sauce, to make chili. Tourism becomes a market. Because if you are to increase like the levels of entry of tourists from say 1.5 million, I think where it is thereabouts, and you build it to 5 and to the maximum where it can go, I don't have the figure, but I think we can build tourism possible at about 7, 8, 9, 10 million in this country. That would be a huge market for the domestic industries, and therefore people prosper. And you increase the jobs. Because there will be those in transportation, there will be those in ticketing, there will be those in all different sectors in that area. So would be in other areas that we will be able to bring out in details in our manifesto, which we are going to launch on 10th of this month. Yes.
Jenna, away from that, we understand this is your very second time you're in this race. Now, the last time it was 2021, we had COVID-19 here. Now that COVID-19 is not here, you're out there. You're going, we saw you yesterday in Shema, you were doing door to door. Jenna, I would love to know, how is it like? Let's look at the dynamics. The other time it was a bit virtual. How is it? How is it now?
Restrictive environment last time because of COVID, and of course General Museveni manipulated to his advantage. Now there is no COVID. Up to this point, we've been able to move to places which are programmed according to the harmonized program of the 8 candidates. So far, so good. Our message is resonating with the population, and I believe we will keep building people around that message, building a support base. I'd like to believe that by the 3rd, 4th month, our message would have gone down so extensively all over the country. I see on social media, I see more and more people understanding us, who have started recognizing that, one, we're a party that is focused, that is disciplined, and that is composed of leaders who are responsible in terms of character, in terms of the care for people, in terms of care for the country. And I have a belief and a sense that more and more people are getting to trust us. That's what we have always desired, for people to trust us. We don't want people to just follow us out of excitement. We just need people to trust us, to see us as a solution to their problems. That's what we'll keep driving over and over. Because we don't want people to simply get excited around us because they think we are the ones who can remove Museveni. No. We want people to support us in large numbers because they trust that we are a solution to their problems. And when they trust us and therefore give us that capability to take out General Museveni, 2 things would have been resolved at the same time. 1, to remove the dictatorship. But 2, people believing that we're a solution, which we know we are, to get in there and therefore utilize that opportunity to break this country out of the vicious cycle in which we've been rotating for 62 years.
Away from that, Jen, let's talk about your alliance with the People's Front for Freedom. First of all, how is it? And then we would love to know, are they helping you in financing these campaigns, or there is no arrangement?
At the level of financing, that is not happening because they themselves are a young party, like we also, a young party. We are a little bit older than them. They are much younger than us, and they have not had the opportunity, one, of getting resources from government, much as they have members of parliament, because they have not signed the memorandum of understanding with the government in regard to the law linked to iPod. But in terms of at the operational level, in terms of political coordination, we are doing that at the local level. We are really satisfied with the manner in which the local leaders are working together. At least in all the places where we've been so far. We've been in Metoma, we've been in Rubirizi, we have been in Shema yesterday, and tomorrow we're going to be in Isinjiro, and there's collaboration. Yeah. So far, so good.
Yeah, maybe lastly, as we get this done, we want to know from you, first of all, your party revealed how you want to hold some fundraising, to get funds here and there from the public to ensure that they help you during these campaigns. First of all, how much? So far, how much have you collected?
It's building up. We have not gone high yet. I don't think, I don't have the latest figures, but I don't think we have gone beyond 10 million shillings yet. But when you see the floor, I believe it is going to expand exponentially down the road once the message reaches out. Because there are 18 million voters. And we would like to believe that if we use all social media channels, and by the way, we request even those who may not have money immediately to give to us, they could help in disseminating the pamphlets online, so that we, out of 18 million, if we can reach anywhere between 10 to 15 million people whom it reaches, we don't expect that all of them would contribute. Actually, our focus is on raising about 100,000 Ugandans who are able to make a contribution, whether 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, and any more that they can. I have seen a number who have even given much more than that. 100,000 people, the moment, if we're able to hit that target, one, besides getting the money to enable us to operate, the most critical thing we would have recognized is that the culture is changing. Clearly, we would know that people have recognized that it is the responsibility of a citizen to invest in the vehicles of governance, political parties. To me, that would be a milestone in our politics, at least in regard to the last maybe 40, 50 years. Because initially in the 60s, then the politics of the country, the party membership, the party base would support the parties, UPC and DP. Then it died out, of course, when Amin took over for about 8 years. Thereafter, it ceased to be the case. General 7 has literally liquidated that. So people are able to finance all other social activities, weddings, burials, they give money to churches, they give money to mosques, the social and the spiritual aspects of their lives, not the political. So the moment we get about 100,000 Ugandans who do that, would know that now we have made a breakthrough. And therefore, we can continue increasing. And changing culture is very, very critical. So we are in for the things that we need to use now, in operational terms, for supporting the party effort in this campaign, but also to have a shift in the mindsets of the Ugandan people. But also, three, incidentally, it may seem peripheral, but it is critical. In life, they say that to overcome fear of anything, for example, if you fear to water, if you fear swimming, the only way you can overcome fear is actually going to the swimming pool itself and learn how to swim. And in the process, you'll overcome fear of swimming. So similarly, the people who fear, you know, there are people who may fear that, oh, how can I give money to an opposition party?
Yeah, the criticism has been so much.
Now, the only way you can overcome that fear, because one, it is your legitimate right as a citizen to use your money in any way you want to use it, as long as you are not breaking the law. You can imagine you make your own money and then you fear to give 10,000 to a political party whose principles, whose values resonate with you, but you fear somebody. How can anybody really cause you to fear that extent that you cannot use your own hard-earned money in any way you want? Because if you are going to support someone who is going to be buried, you give it without any fear. You're going to support a wedding, you do it without fear. But you want to support a political cause and you are in fear. That shows that there is a problem in the country. So the only way you can break out of that, if you get like 100,000 people or more, if they support also other parties, then it will also help us to take back our citizenship and our rights. Yes. Actually, it's a form of defiance without going on the streets. Yeah.
Thank you so much, General, for having us. He is apparently the flag bearer of Alliance for National Transformation in this presidential race for the general elections of 2026. Now, as you're all aware, today we still have presidential campaigns ongoing in the entire country, and we'll be giving you updates here on NTV. Let me get back to the studios. A very good morning.